Welcome to TomAir. If you're just tuning in, I had so much positive response to that last video, well, the second to last video. I love my SkyMaster. Obviously, I fly a SkyMaster. There it is right there. So I put out a video called I Love My SkyMaster. Something like 129,000 people watched that video. It was incredible. Thank you so much if you tuned in, if you watched that video. Check it out if you didn't. Lots of great comments, lots of great responses, a lot of interaction there. Mostly what people said is they wanted to see me fly the SkyMaster, and this whole channel is going to be, don't worry, I promise, it's going to be about me flying the SkyMaster, interesting places and doing some fun stuff. But I figured I better follow it up quickly and actually post a video of flying the SkyMaster somewhere. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the can. We've got a whole bunch of adventures coming up. They need to be edited, so bear with me on that. But I wanted to get this video quickly. So today, I'm going to do a quick flight from my home base here in Brantford, Ontario, which is just to the west side of Toronto. I'm going to fly up to Peterborough, Ontario, which is to the north east side of Toronto. Toronto, affectionately known as the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, is also really well known for its horrendous traffic. So getting from where I live here in Brantford to Peterborough, Ontario, you're driving right through some of the worst traffic in North America. Believe it or not, Toronto gets rated for worse traffic than Los Angeles, California. So it's a terrible drive. It's a great flight. Because what we get to do is we get to fly over downtown Toronto, we get to fly along the lakeshore, and then we get to turn sort of northeast up towards Peterborough, Ontario. Got a quick little bit of business to do up there, so I figured I'd bring you along and take you on a flight in the SkyMaster. We'll do the checklist, we'll do the startup procedures, we'll do the obviously takeoff procedures en route and landing in Peterborough. So come along for a ride. Hope you enjoy it, and let's have some fun. All right, so today's flight, September 17th. I use these pages. Paul, my instructor, you probably remember Paul from the first episodes with the Lake Buccaneer, the forced landing. If you haven't seen those, check those out. Paul, he's ex-military. He taught me to always have a pen and paper along, or a pencil and paper along. And he loves the kneeboard and he loves the old analog flight pages. I've sort of taken to doing these as well. It's just a great way, especially if you're flying IFR, you get your clearance, you can write it all down quickly. You want to take notes, you know, a controller tells you a frequency or something to switch to. It's a really easy way to get all that stuff done. So date, aircraft registration, Charlie, Golf, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, we are C3337. Startup, we don't know. Fuel, we are 108 liters. Oil at start, 6.5, front and rear. Weather, sky clear. Well, yeah. Route CYFD to CYPQ. And the rest of this stuff I'm going to fill out en route. So as you can see, we got a quick flight to Peterborough. It's about 41 minutes in the air. So we're starting at our base in Brantford, Ontario, which is just to the west of Toronto, to the southwest of Toronto, about an hour's drive. Well, hour's drive if there's no traffic, which there's never no traffic. We're going to be following the lakeshore. The controllers always push us down along the lakeshore by Hamilton here, the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Then we basically, let's add that in. Then they make us follow the lakeshore, and then from there we'll be basically direct over Oshawa to Peterborough, up here just to the northeast of Toronto. All right, well, here we go. Let's head off to Peterborough. In the SkyMaster, as I mentioned in the last video, it's a little different than some planes. It only has the one door, small air stairs in the world. So you obviously climb in on the right side and then you scoot over to the left side, which once you get used to that, it's pretty straightforward. But you know, it's one of those things. I wouldn't want to be a huge person in this plane. So I'm all about the checklist. Like I'm a checklist guy. Again, Paul did my twin engine training. He's ex-military. He's by the book. You got to be following your checklist, folks. I mean, airplanes are complex. Even a relatively simple twin engine airplane like this is a complex aircraft. It's easy to forget stuff. So I'm all about the checklist. So move the control lock. There we go. Got my sunglasses here. Maybe I'll put those on because it is a little bright. A little bright out still. Good. Get the seat. There's a bar on the front of the seat. Scoot it forward. Make sure my pedal reach is good. So my pre-flight has been complete. I did the pre-flight. I didn't include it in the video, but I did a thorough pre-flight before we started shooting the video. I like to get all that stuff taken care of before I break out the cameras, and there's potential distraction that way. Crew brief, obviously it's just me. It's a quick flight to Peterborough today via city center, like over downtown Toronto. So we're going to be following the shoreline. I'm not going to climb above 2,000 feet for the first part of this trip because there's Pearson, one of the biggest airports, certainly in the biggest airport in Canada, one of the biggest airports in North America. They push us down to 2,000 feet for that anyways. There's no point in me climbing any higher earlier on. Yeah, 41 minutes, well, let's call it 50 minutes en route. It's a nice flight. Should be some good scenics along the way. Looking forward to a nice view over downtown Toronto too. So, loose articles are secure. Seats and belts. Okay, so belt is good. Snug. Fire extinguishers under my seat. I checked it during the pre-flight. It's a little halon fire extinguisher, and it's good, and it's charged up, and it's still current. Cabin door closed, latched, locked. Flight controls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up the middle. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard about people starting their takeoff roll with their control locks still in. I don't know how that would happen. Everybody should be doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pre-flight check on the flight controls. It's just basic stuff. So I do it every flight. Elevator and rudder trim. So the nose likes to be quite far trimmed to the left on the rudder on this plane. I think it's because we got the radar pod over on the right side. And the elevator trim is right about in the middle. Perfect. Landing gear selector. Again, this is a retractable gear airplane, so I always want to make sure that gear selector is down. There's a little detent. I always put my finger in the detent to make sure it's down before I give it power. I mean, it's got a squat switch, so it wouldn't try to retract the gear on the ground, but who knows? You know, it's better to be safe than sorry. Landing gear emergency handles down here on the floor. Here's the landing gear emergency handle right here. It pulls out, and then you got to give it about 100 pumps to get that sucker to function properly. And I've actually pumped it down before because I had some problems with the landing gear. Not the gear, but I had some problems with the power pack, the hydraulic power pack. Near when I first got the plane, I had to have that rebuilt. So twice I've pumped this gear down, and it's a little scary, but yeah, it's all good. It works. All this stuff works. You just got to know how to use it. All right, so the brakes are applied. Avionics switches off. Master alternators on and on. Landing gear down. Green light and a horn. That's the gear horn. If I hear that on final, and it means I probably haven't put the gear down, and I better put the gear down. So beacon, I leave my beacon on. That's again sort of an old fighter pilot thing. Not that I'm a fighter pilot, but I was taught by fighter pilots. Leave your beacon on all the time, so when you turn your master on, your beacon goes on. If you ever forget to turn your master off when you park somewhere for the night, This is something Paul taught me. Again, last thing you do when you're walking away from the plane, turn and take one last look at the aircraft. If the beacon's flashing, you're an idiot. You left your master on, and you better go back and turn it off, or else you're going to go back and you're going to have a dead battery, and that battery might be so dead that you'll have to throw it away and buy a new one. Don't ask me how I know that. Yeah, anyway. Nav lights on. Circuit breakers. So my circuit breakers are down here by my leg. Easiest way to check the breakers is with my finger. I run them over it very consciously. I feel every one. 9, there's 9 in that top row. 13 in the bottom row. And the new stuff for the panel, there's another 9 over here. So I want to feel all those and make sure none of those circuit breakers are popped out. So that's what I'm doing there. All right, working my way further down the list. Fuel. Tank to engine quantity. Again, analog fuel gauges. They're not great. Once I have engine power, we will have the G4 fired up, and it tells me exactly what I'm at for fuel. So I'll be checking both those things. But for now, I can see by the analog, we've got definitely over half tanks. So we've probably got about 90 gallons of fuel on board at least, if I remember correctly from the last flight. Good. All right, so now we're going to be doing our engine start. So we got our tank to engine was the last thing there. Cowl flaps, we'll open them up. So that's opening up the cowl flaps on both engines, front and rear. Fuel pump, so front fuel pump, we want to give it just a little bit of fuel. So I'm going to be giving it mixture, a little bit of mixture. Throttle's just cracked open. Rear fuel pump. I like to open up this side window for this. Positive rate on the fuel flow. Mixture's back. Clear rear. And I give it a little bit. There we go. I was just a little shy. I should have let it start. I should have ran the starter for an extra couple of seconds. Same on the front. Positive rate. Fuel flows are positive. And clear front. Sparked right up. Love it. Alright, so master's on. Aspen master on. And now my headset should be working. There we go. Now we can see the panel. And start time 1936, and obviously I checked my oil pressure when I was starting the engines. That's just, I mean, I didn't vocalize it, but obviously as soon as I get the engine started, check the oil pressure is an important thing. Start time 1936. Zulu. I do everything in Zulu time. So I'm a fighter pilot. That's right. Alright, so Avionics master's on, altimeter set and matched, so Brantford, Ontario is 820 feet. I have 2 altimeters to set. I have the Aspen. I usually start with that, that's my primary. So it's looking like 2994 and 820 feet.
Brantford Unicom Alpha Papa Sierra requesting radio check and airport advisory.
Oh, what am I doing?
Alpha Papa Sierra, your readability is 5, strength is 3, active runways 23.
Instrument suction is good.
There's no reported traffic in the area.
Avionics, obviously they've started up. We didn't have any databases out of sync, so the databases are up to date, which is good news. I actually updated those today. Go to the map page. Should be finding where I am shortly. Direct to CYPQ. And it's the dual Avidyne, so basically they work together. It's actually 2 GPS nav comms. So it's pretty slick the way you get the keyboard on the bottom to function the top. So CYPQ. Enter, activate, app. I like to have that up. Nice. Let's close these up, the little USB covers. From doing the updates, keep the dust out of there. Alright, Avionics checked and set. Garmin audio panel. We're on COM 2. We're already hearing Unicom here in Brantford, 122.825, so that's good news. That's working. I like to always do a squelch check just to make sure
volume's approximately correct. Nav 2, or Nav 1 rather, I put my high frequencies on the upper nav, I put my lower, not high frequencies, but like higher channels like the terminal center, that kind of thing. I've been taught to put those on COM 1. COM 2, I put my locals, my Unicom, my tower frequencies, my ATIS, my ground, that kind of thing goes on COM 2. So COM 2, we've got Brantford Unicom. COM 1, we're 19.7, so that's Toronto 7. That's who we'll be talking to once we're off the ground. Because we're going to be in controlled airspace pretty quick. Brantford's uncontrolled, but then as soon as we start heading east, it gets controlled pretty quickly. ADF, we don't have an ADF anymore. That's old. Transponder, we do have a transponder, obviously. It's built into the Avionics. It's all automatic. We're squawking ground automatically right now. Ryan TCAD, this is a nice little box. This basically gives me transponder traffic. So I have ADSB traffic and I have transponder traffic in this thing. So the transponder traffic is reading other people's transponders. ADSB is coming in through the GDL52 up here on the dash, and that shows up on the iPad. So on the iPad I'm talking to the GDL52, which is a great machine. I also have Sirius XM weather on the GDL52, because up here in Canada we don't get ADSB everywhere, so I thought it was important to have weather as well. So there you go. G4 engine monitor. Okay, engine monitor is good, and I was going to check fuel. So 81 gallons of fuel on board. So that's about 4 hours in this plane, and we're only an hour each way. So that's great. Aspen HSI. Heading.
Altitude.
Okay, and let's set that altitude so it doesn't squawk at me. There we go. Autopilot, let's test the autopilot. Heading mode, and there you have the Aspen actually controls the autopilot in heading mode, and disconnect. Alright, we're going to head out and do the run-up. So here we go. A little bit of power. We always lead with the rear engine, even when we're taxiing in the SkyMaster. Lead with the rear. Because you can't hear the rear, but you can't see the rear engine, obviously. So if you lead with it, you can tell that if it's making power or not. That's particularly important on the takeoff roll, to lead with the rear engine. So I just do it all the time. I always just a little bit more with the rear engine than the front engine. Let's put on our taxi lights. I have LED lights. I always put all the lights on. Brantford Unicom, Charlie Golf Romeo, Bravo Romeo for advisory, and comm check, please.
Romeo Bravo Romeo, your radio is 5x5. Active runway has been 23. Winds are from the south at 5 knots, and there is traffic in the area.
Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo, thanks for that. Alright, so we're just taxiing out to do our run-up, following the taxi lines. It's 23, so that's the long runway here in Brantford. 0523 are the long runways. It's not in the direction we want to go, but we'll there's other traffic here, so we'll get in line with everyone else, and we'll go on 23. Just gonna do our run-up over here on the smooth pavement. And the winds are from the south, so we'll just face into the wind. And leading with the rear engine.
Brantford traffic, Alpha Papa Sierra lining up on 23.
Alright, run up checklist. Nose into wind, brakes are on and set. Cowl flaps open. I'll just confirm that they are in fact open. They are.
Brantford traffic, this is Zulu Joy, low and over.
Are correct. Throttle's 1800. I keep my feet on the brakes as well, because even at 1800 with the brakes on, this thing's got a lot of, it wants to go. She wants to go, which is good. 1800 RPM. Mag check. So I'm doing the mag check rear first. So everything that's on the right everything's divided right and left. So everything that's on the right is rear, left is front. So I'm doing the rear mags. So left, right, and both. And like most mag checks, you can't have, you have to have 150 RPM. You can't have more than 150 RPM difference between them, and 150 RPM drop, and you can't have more than 50 RPM difference between them. So now I'm on the front engine, left, right, and both. And it's feather check, and we don't want to go below 1200 RPM on this, so feather check. And just gets the oil going in the constant speed propeller. And I like to give it a couple. That's good. Okay, mixture check.
Brantford traffic,
Rear.
Zulu Juliet Foxtrot. Turning base,
You see the
runway
exhaust
23,
gas
low and
temps
over.
going up, and then it starts to die, and then I give it full rich, and then back to idle mixture. Slowly ease it off. Again, I see the exhaust gas temperatures rise on the G4. Starts to die, full rich, and then back to idle power, or back to idle mixture, and then throttles ground idle, and the engine should keep running, which it does. Back to 1000 RPM aside.
Brantford traffic, Zulu Juliet Foxtrot is turning
Perfect.
final, runway 23, low and over.
Alright, this run-up checklist complete. Pre-takeoff checklist, cabin door, closed latch, locked. Fuel, once again, tank to engine, both green and green, perfect. Boost pumps are off. You don't use boost pumps in the SkyMaster on takeoff, at least not in this one according to the POH. I've never had to use them for takeoff, so we don't. Alternators, both on both. And we are charging over here, which is good. Props full, fine, forward. Ice protection not required. We'll be using that pretty soon because it's going to be winter soon. Flaps 1 for takeoff. And the next checklist will be the runway checklist. So let's head out and do that. Sounds like there's one person just doing a low and over I could hear. Brakes off. And off we go. Brantford area traffic, SkyMaster, Charlie Golf, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo is backtracking runway 23 for departure. There's the whole short line, so lights, camera is good, camera being my transponder, action, item, seatbelt, ANR, switches, and all the rest of it. Alright, so we're in the runway environment now, paying very close attention to who's where. Coming up on runway 23. Brantford's an old World War II configuration, so it's got the 6 runways in the triangle, and 2305 is the long one. And I always backtrack to get the full 5,000 feet because I have a twin-engine airplane, and you know I'd hate to have to make that call to my insurance broker and have him ask me, you know, you went off the end of the runway on takeoff, you did a midfield takeoff. What's your reasoning for that? So yeah, there you go. All right, 23, set in the heading bug. 23. We're going to be climbing to 2,000 feet, so I'm going to set my altitude bug to 2,000 feet on the Aspen. We'll have an episode coming up where I talk all about the panel upgrades that I've had, the Aspen, and all the amazing superpowers that this panel gives me. All the stuff, the Avionics and the Aspen PFD. It's just an amazing combo, but we'll talk about that another day, another episode. Yeah, the weather's a little crappier to the north of the city, but I think we should be good for our route of flight. And again, I was always taught to use as much runway as possible, so I go right to the end.
Brantford traffic, Zulu Juliet Foxtrot, turning downwind, runway 23 for full stop.
Brantford traffic, Charlie Golf, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, lining up runway 23 for immediate departure. Alright, I did say immediate departure, I should have said departure, but that guy's just in his downwind, so we're fine. So, pre-takeoff checklist, cabin door locked, oh no, runway checklist, sorry, taxi takeoff, clearance received, flaps 1, lights and strobes on, everything's on, ANR is on, cowl flaps, confirm that they are open, mixtures full rich, and departure pass clear, time record 1953, and we are clear for takeoff. Here we go, y'all set, let's go. Brantford traffic, Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo is on the roll, 23, climbing 2,000 feet with the right turnout. Here we go, leading with the rear engine. Alright, gauges are good. Airspeed's alive. Protecting the throttle quadrant. And we're getting light, coming up on 70 knots. Here we go. And positive rates, tap the brakes, and gears going up. And line power, flaps going up, 500 feet, 24, 26, climb power.
Traffic.
24, 26. All right. Wow, those fields are beautiful down there. All right, right turnout.
Traffic.
Brantford traffic, SkyMaster Charlie Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo just departed 2-3 with a right turnout climbing 1,500 through 1,500 feet for 2,000 feet, Brantford. All right, we'll climb to 2,000 and then we'll get her leveled up and then we'll engage the autopilot. We're 100 feet away, 1,900 for 2,000, 100 feet to go.
Brantford traffic, Zulu Duet Foxtrot, turning final. Runway 23, stop it.
All right, so cruise power 23 squared. And pull the mixtures back to about 9.5 gallons a side. Down low like this, 9.5, 10 gallons a side. We'll start at 10 gallons a side and then we'll lean it out to 9.5 gallons a side. And we'll engage the autopilot. Autopilot heading mode and altitude. That little high correcting, 80 feet high. There we go. Brantford area traffic, SkyMaster Charlie Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo is departing the zone to the northeast, 2,000 feet. Switching over to city center. And they're going to ask me for putting in the transponder code. This gets queued up for that.
India Lima Channel. Question, it looks like I'm looking at the radar and see some weather moving in Markham. Do you think we can make it before that heavy rain moves into YKZ, or should we slow down?
Toronto Center, Charlie Golf, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo.
Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, Channel.
Just departed Brantford VFR to Peterborough and looking for flight following through City Center.
Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, roger. Maintain your present altitude, please. Medevac traffic inbound to Hamilton on the iOS 1-2 there, and they're at 3,000 feet. And for you, squawk 4763.
We'll look out for that medevac traffic, and we're squawking 4763 for Romeo, Bravo,
4763 in the squawk. That traffic 5 miles north of you, southeastbound, 3,000 feet.
That's 4763 for Romeo, Bravo, Romeo.
And what's your type?
We're a Cessna SkyMaster 337.
Okay. Lima Hotel Oscar, medevac SkyMaster traffic at your 2 o'clock for 4 miles eastbound 2,000 feet.
We got him at ADSB, Lima Oscar, medevac.
And Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, you're identified 2,000 feet. Just maintain 2 until you're past the approach pass there at Hamilton, altimeter at Hamilton 2988.
2988, and we'll maintain 2,000 feet, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo.
Roger, you might see at the beach 1900 at your 9 o'clock there for 3 miles southeastbound at 3.
Traffic.
Romeo, Bravo, Romeo is looking for the traffic. We see them on the transponder.
Gotcha. Flight Flight 4 medevac, contact City Tower 1182.
City Tower 822, Life Flight 4 medevac.
Toronto Center, SkyMaster Golf, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo. Are you switching us over to City Tower soon?
Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, you can call them now 1182. I'll talk to you on the other side.
182 for Romeo, Bravo, Romeo. Thank you. I think she might have forgotten about us. Toronto City Center Tower from SkyMaster Golf, Romeo, Bravo, Romeo.
Golf Romeo, Bravo, Romeo, City Tower, good afternoon. Altimeter 2986, cleared to the city control zone, past north of CN Tower.
2986 and it's cleared through the zone north of the tower. Golf Romeo, Bravo, Romeo.
Quarter 2284 tower, winds 180 at 6, clear to land, runway 26.
Yeah, clear to land 26, quarter 2284.
North of the tower. They always put us north of the tower. South of the tower, there's Toronto City Center Airport. So
good afternoon, City Tower,
makes
quarter
sense.
2684 on the RNAV, X-ray 26.
Yeah, I'll give you a view of
Quarter 2684, City Tower, good afternoon, winds 180 at 7, altimeter 2986.
2986, quarter 2684.
Traffic.
Alright, so landing brief. Pre-landing checklist, crew brief. So we're going to be landing Peterborough in 6 minutes. Loose articles are secure, seats, belts secure, good, seats locked. Approach navigators are set. We're going to be landing runway 27. Approach frequencies are set. Peterborough Unicom 123. Autopilot set. Fuel, tank to engine, quantity is still good. Master alt mags on. Mixtures, will be enriching those during descent. Cowl flaps will open in those during descent. Engine monitor, all is normal. Ice protection not required. Lights and strobes, we've just left them on. I left them on right across the GTA just for visibility. Approach flaps 1, we'll do those as we're entering the pattern. Gear will come down in the downwind. Brake test to be in the downwind, landing flaps to 2, we'll do that on
Oswego traffic, Cessna 66230 is 5
pre-landing checklist
south,
done.
Inbound runway 24, Oswego.
Peterborough area traffic, SkyMaster Charlie Golf, Romeo Bravo. Romeo is currently 10.5 miles to the west, 2,000 feet, inbound for landing. We're going to be joining straight and left downwind runway 27, full stop Peterborough. Expecting the field 4.5 minutes. Peterborough area traffic, SkyMaster Charlie Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo is entering a left downwind 27, full stop, Peterborough.
Good traffic, 630.
Alright, let's slow this baby down. Flaps 1, so speed cross checks are good for flaps. We're below 165, flaps 1. And enriching the mixture. I'm going to widen out a little bit. So the autopilot's still on, so I'm just flying in heading mode now. Looking at the field. The weather again. 180 at 6. So winds are from the south. Alright, autopilot's off. We're going to bring the gear in, so we're below gear speed, which is 145 knots in the SkyMaster. So gear's coming in. I like to keep my hand on the gear lever while the gear's coming in, so I don't forget to check it. I can feel it coming in. I can hear those big doors opening up. And I got a green light, gears down and locked. I look out my left window and I see a wheel. Look out the right window and I see the mirror out there with a wheel and another wheel. So that's good. Peterborough traffic, SkyMaster Charlie Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo is turning left base, full stop, runway 27, Peterborough. Let's bring the power back, enrich the mixture. Let's open the cowl flaps in case we got to do a go round. And we're going all the way down to 628 feet. No one on, no straight ins. Peterborough traffic, SkyMaster Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo is turning final 27, full stop, Peterborough. And I did my old habitual thing, and well, I didn't do it too bad. Slightly overshot final. And now we're on final. Winds are from the south, so that's from the left. So we'll be doing a little bit of crosswind inputs. It's not bad, 6 knots. Alright, so we're flaps 2, full rich. And let's bring the props fine. Alright, we're 95 knots. I like to be about 100 knots over the fence, so a little slow correcting. Peterborough traffic, Golf Romeo Bravo Romeo, short final, Peterborough 27. And field is made, flaps 3. Hold it off. And perfect, weight on the wheels. See if we can exit Delta. Yeah, we're good for Delta. And bring the mixture back to idle. Nice.
Boom, there you have it. Thanks for joining me on my quick VFR flight from Brantford, Ontario to Peterborough, Ontario via downtown Toronto. So yeah, you got to see what it's like to fly on the SkyMaster. I went through the basic procedures, normal operating procedures. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be lots more of this stuff coming up. I'm planning on doing a IFR trip next, maybe. We're also going to do an emergency procedures with the SkyMaster. So I'm going to get Paul Briggs back, run me through all the emergency procedures, and that's going to be horrible, but it's good. You got to practice your emergency procedures, so we're going to do that coming up too. So yeah, don't forget, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.